Did you just realize that you didn't get paid on that job you completed? Don't panic. Do this now. Hi, I'm Steph. Welcome to the channel. If you have QuickBooks, you would open up your QuickBooks and then go to Reports on the left hand panel of your screen. Then go to Standard Reports. And then you would look for a report called Accounts Receivable Aging Summary. Now it appears in my favorites because I have a star selected by it so that it can appear here because I'm always in it. But if you don't have the star there, then you can scroll down to who owes you, the section here, and you can just click into it from here, or you can select the star and then it would appear in your favorites up here. So just a little tip there. You can click into accounts receivable summary and look and see if the money or the payment that you're looking for appears here. So let's just say that we sent an invoice to the customer Cool Cars, right? And it was invoice 100. Now the invoice numbers are not going to be here, but I don't see the vendor Cool Cars here. And I don't see an invoice for $2,500 because that is the amount of work that we've done and the payment that we were supposed to receive for that work. So I don't see anything here with the vendor. I don't see an invoice here with the amount. So that leads me to believe that either the payment has been applied to a different invoice, or I forgot, or the business owner forgot to enter the invoice in the system. So another way we can look is that we can go up to the search engine here and we can look for $2,500 payment. And we do see a deposit here for $2,500, which means it's in our QuickBooks. So let's just click into the deposit to see what's attached to this deposit. So we see a Cool Cars payment here for $1675.52, but that is not for the invoice that we have. Because if we click into that payment is for the invoice 1004. But our payment for $2,500 is for invoice 100. So this is not the payment for Cool Cars that we're looking for, but we did get payment on this. So we'll just come out of there, and what we can do, since we know that there's a deposit in there for $2,500, which is here, it's not applied to an invoice. So now we have to look and see, is the invoice in QuickBooks? Did the business owner forget to put the invoice into QuickBooks, or was this payment applied to a different invoice? So we can go into the search engine and do invoice 100. Now we can do two things. We can search for the invoice manually, and QuickBooks will do its search. Let me just show you of what QuickBooks would do. QuickBooks would search the transactions and see if invoice 100 is in QuickBooks. And I don't see an invoice 100. Another thing that's nice is that the Intuit Intelligence would also search the invoice 100 for you as well. So if you click on this, it'll do its analyzing of your QuickBooks, and let's see what it comes up with. Business data. It's looking through the QuickBooks business data, and it says, I've searched your client's QuickBooks for invoice 100 and no matching invoice was found. So that lets us know too that there's no invoice in here for the customer Cool Cars that we need to attach to the $2,500. So what we need to do is we need to create an invoice. So we can go to apps, all apps, sales and get paid, and invoices tab. And then we could also look here to see if the invoice is here, but it's not. We did the Intuit Assist to help us find the invoice, and we did our own search of QuickBooks invoice. So we can go to create invoice and just fill out the invoice that you did the job on, the product description, the amount, the net terms, because you, the business owner, forgot to import the invoice in. Fill out the invoice, create it, and then when you finish, click save. So if you, the business owner, forgot to enter an invoice in QuickBooks, if you have someone to look over this task for you, then that's a plus. But if you are just the business owner and you're trying to juggle everything with keeping track of your invoices, keeping track of who's paid you, keeping track of just the bookkeeping that you're doing by yourself, then things happen. So these are the different steps that you would do in order to try to keep track of the payments. So you just realize that you didn't get paid for that job. You just enter the invoice and apply the payment. So how you would enter the invoice, you would go to all apps, sales and get paid, and then invoices. Or another way you can get to it, you don't have to do all of those steps. You can go to create, and the customers, underneath the customers tab, it's invoices right here. You can click on it as well. And so now we said that the invoice that was missing was 100, right? But now, because some time has lapsed, I think QuickBooks is going to create a invoice number for it, which is totally fine. So we go to add the customer, which is Cool Cars, right? We could put it as due on receipt because now some time has passed. So we want the invoice that is paid. We didn't send it to them because we forgot it, or the business owner didn't send it to them because they forgot it. So we can give them a little break on it and say, due in 15 days. And then it would just do 7/16 because that's 15 days from the date of the invoice. So we can click Cool Cars. The product is some concrete work that the owner said that he did, or if you're the business owner, you know what kind of work that you have completed. And the amount is $2,500. For the sake of simplicity, we're not going to have this invoice have tax on it because we want the payment to be applied directly to the invoice for the same amount. But you will have taxes throughout the invoices and the jobs that you've done. This is just for tutorial purposes and trying to keep it simple. We're going to scroll down. $2,500 is the invoice total. We'll say that this invoice is dated 7/1/2026 because that was the invoice date that was on the deposit. And we're going to say, it's due net 30 days, or if you want, you can put net 15 days because you forgot to give them the invoice. So we'll give them a little bit of time to pay. Or if you don't, you can just say due upon receipt. And then we have everything here. So we will click save. And invoice number 1038 is the number that QuickBooks gave it. Okay, so now we have our invoice in there for Cool Cars for $2,500. If we did everything correctly, it should show up on our accounts receivable aging. So we'll go to reports. We'll go to standard, then we'll go to accounts receivable aging, and there it is, invoice 1038 for $2,700 because the sales tax is on it. So what we're going to do is take off the sales tax. So what we're going to do now, if we did everything correctly, we're going to go into our reports, standard reports, and we're going to look into our accounts receivable aging and look for our invoice for Cool Cars. And it will appear in the 1 to 30 days because this date of this report is July 31st. So it is $2,500. We do have an invoice in here. It is going to appear here because the deposit that we have in QuickBooks is not applied to this invoice. So let's go and apply that now. So now we can either look for the invoice. We know the invoice number is 1038. We can do it this way and look, and it'll pull it up. Or we can go into the all apps, sales and invoices, and it should appear here as unpaid. So we'll look for the invoice 1038 for Cool Cars, and you'll just receive the payment because the deposit is already in QuickBooks. So you would just go to receive payment. The invoice is selected, and you would click, if everything's good, you'll click record. $2,500 payment recorded. Okay, close this out. And now if you wanted to check and make sure that the payment is recorded and you in fact did receive the payment is in QuickBooks, then you would just scroll down and it shows it here. The date 7/1, 1038 is the invoice, the vendor is Cool Cars, and this nice green checkbox with it saying paid and $2,500. And then you can drill into it and see the invoice activity and when you got paid. All the reports in QuickBooks are fairly important, but this report right here, the AR Aging Summary Report, is the report that's going to tell you the amount of cash that you have on hand, the reason why your income is less than it should be for that month, whether or not you can cover payroll, whether or not you can pay that tax bill. It all stems from if you're getting paid from your customers and if you're getting paid on time so that that money can be in your QuickBooks in order to facilitate those things that I've just mentioned. If you viewed this video and you found invoices that are over 30 days or over 60 days, put it in the comments. If this video has helped you, please like, subscribe, hit the notification button. And as always, you're keeping incredible service simple with Steph. Thanks for watching. Be blessed.